I keep tapping into all the creativity that's going on here. Where do you think, what do you think, which creative aspect of your own business model, your own way you do business, the way you operate, what is the strongest resource personally that you have for creating value, that because you're always creating value? It's obviously
Yeah.
in your head, you got all of these things going. I'm just, I know Cal CPA really well, but I'm learning from you. And so
it's one of those jobs. It's honestly like college, grad school extended. I'm never not thinking about work, and that's just by design. It's a very deadline oriented job, but as you say, there's a creative process to it. I'm building out each issue. I'm thinking about what is going in that issue. I'm coming up with ideas for future issues. And I've realized that, because you sent those, so I was looking at some of those creative questions, and I've never really thought about it as a creative thing. And I started to think about it as a creative thing based on your questions, and I realized a lot of my creative process is created. It happens when I'm doing something else. That typical, I get my best ideas in the shower sort of thing. It's kind of like
right.
that, but it's more, I have to have that space in my life to not be in front of it all the time. And then I find that that's when the creative stuff happens. That's when I have, this idea, hey, is anyone asking CPAs this? And then I'll run it by my boss, and we'll kind of start fleshing it out. So I think a big part of it is having that space, not being so next to the work all the time, which it would be easy to do with this job because it is very, as I said, it's very deadline oriented. There's always something to deal with. But creating that space to kind of have other, get your mind to wander a bit is where the creative stuff is really born. At least for me. But then the other side of that is I'm very much a creature of routine. And I think that's why this job, I fit so well in this job. The deadlines don't bother me. I don't know where I've never not had a monthly deadline in my life at this point, and I don't know where I'd be without it. So I think the routine is as well, it kind of feeds into that, because I'm always in a very kind of back burner sort of way. I have an innate schedule going, and there's a time of the month where I am formulating, and then there's a time of the month where I'm just pushing the paper. So it's a bit of both, and my routine plus, the break, really kind of that genesis or that nexus really kind of gives me that creative part of it.
When you were talking, I was thinking about your graduate work. You kind of started off with that when I asked you the question. Can we tap into the graduate work? I just well, you got a graduate degree, and I didn't realize just maybe how powerful that was.
Well, let me tell you, a big part of it too was coming from the US school system and going into the University of Durham in England. Was the third oldest school in England. When I got there, I had thought I made a huge mistake. These were extremely intelligent people who were just on another level. And I was worried. I didn't know what I was doing there. But the funny thing about it is, as I got into it, it was a very different style of teaching. I had three, what did they call it? I had three basically classes a semester. And we would meet twice a month for each, just 2 times a month, but each meeting would be 4 hours long, and there was only maybe 3 other people in the class with me. So it was literally just, you would get together for 4 hours, and it would be discussing in a very open way the material. And it was and then you would go away and you would do, you had assignments, don't get me wrong, and you had work to do, but it was, just go do it. And it was a very open-ended way to teach, but it just changed how I learned. It really opened my mind to a lot of, I was so used to, the formulaic, we had, you have this test is this percentage of your grade, then this midterm is this percentage of your grade, and then the final is going to do this. Well, it was not like that at all. It was so much more subjective. Your teacher knew you. so well, to the point of like some of these classes would be at the teacher's house and we'd have dinner after and we'd listen to poetry on old recordings of poetry, stuff like that. It just really changed how I looked at learning, and also kind of opened my mind to just how you digest knowledge. I mean, some of these people, I was learning so much from these people that were a lot more well-read than me, but it was so easy to really kind of get some of that off of them. It was a really eye-opening experience, and I think it really changed the way that I learn, and then changed the way that I know things. It's just that how I approach any issue now is a lot different because of that experience for me.
So would you say that you're much more fluid about things, which sounds like would come in handy? Like you said, I have somebody's going to write the article and I got a deadline and they can't. So all of a sudden you're able to make those kinds of shifts.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think as it goes back to what I was telling you earlier about how I have like the routine side of things and the creative side of things. I don't let one dominate the other, because, things aren't going to always go the way you plan. And I have to trust myself that I have the toolbox to figure it out. And it's not failed me yet.